This is all people driven. The minute you understand that every bit of real estate is driven by people and the things they have going on in their life that are causing them to need to buy or sell, all the business is right there. But so often we sit at home, we run more marketing pieces out there, and we wait for the business to come into us. And it's like, but people have never let me down.
Welcome, everyone, to Life at 10 Tenths, where we inspire people to live at the pinnacle of their ability and purpose. As always, he's Garrett. I'm Matt. Welcome, everybody. We so appreciate you joining us for another episode of this incredible podcast. Garrett, good morning to you, sir. How are you?
Good morning, sir. I'm excited to get going as always.
Yeah, man. I'm ready to dive in. Before we do, quick reminder, folks, head over to our website, lifeat10tenths.com. Just spell it all out, drop your email in, and we will let you know everything that's coming up with this new journey, this new adventure. And we have a really fun announcement coming next week. So if you want to be keyed into that, make sure you do go to the website and drop your email in so that we can tell you about it, because it's going to be awesome. It's going to be exciting. And we can't wait to share it with you. But until then, we got a great topic for you guys today. It's something that we're seeing with our coaching calls right now, Garrett, with people who just kind of like ride in the market. Hey, when's that going to kind of push me in the right direction?
We see this happen all the time, Matt, where, people are like waiting for the marketplace to come around, the spring market, certain waves that show up, and they say, this is our busy time right now. This is when we're busy. This is when we gotta make hay right now. And seeing a lot of people that also you watch a certain market pass by and they're like, well, that wasn't as busy as I thought it was going to be. It wasn't as crazy as we thought it was going to be. It's a little quieter than it normally is. And the thing that always comes into my mind is like, are you waiting for the market to save you? Like, are you just sitting back and going, this is going to be okay because there's a spring market coming up, or this is going to be okay because this is going to be happening. And I would much rather, and I want to kick this around with you today, Matt, is how can we be the cause instead of just what is happening out here and hoping that it's going to be okay, because that's usually our busy time.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because market cycles happen. I mean, if you look at the aggregate data, like it kind of looks like a little roller coaster, and you see activity in the spring market, a little less, but an activity jump in the fall market, and these kind of lulls in the summer and winters. And I am seeing a handful of people kind of look at their business and go, wait a minute, we're going to get ready for the market to go down. And I haven't done as much business as I wanted to. And on the other side, kind of been seeing people wait for the past couple of years of like, the market's going to pick back up. I know we had low transactions, but I'm just going to wait for that wave, and I'm just going to hop on my surfboard and ride it. And it's like, well, think about your position in the market, right? Like, you're this big in the entire market. We're so small in terms of our productivity compared to the entire market. So the movement of our business can be impacted by market dynamics, of course, but even more impacted by what we do. So why don't we take charge of that and go capture some market share?
Well, and I think, what was the number you said of how many homes percentage-wise, how many consumers are going to buy or sell?
Well,
you said it was,
I think the last census was there's like 113 million households. Now, that may not be actual homes. It's all tax purposes.
Yeah.
We have about 5 to 6 million homes that sell every year. Now, last year was a low year in the fours, but that's about 5-6%. So, I mean,
let's tone this back for a second, because you've worked with a lot of people over the years that you've been a coach, and you were a manager of an office, and you've seen a lot of people that have had incredible years and a lot of people that have had really down years. I've been doing this for 20 now, give or take. And I've seen a lot of people that have had record-breaking banner years. And I've had a lot of people that have come through the end of the year going, oh my gosh, that was the most painful year I've ever had. Good agents that have had the most painful years they've ever had. And I think the interesting thing at the end of the day is, I have really never had anybody that has said, I was successful because the marketplace saved me. Because all of a sudden we had a great market. More often than not, it is driven by activities that they were doing that caused that success that they had. You can always go back and go, what caused that? And they will always go back to, well, these are the things I was doing different in my business. This was the time period you go out there and you go, okay, so a couple handful of months ago, I started doing this regularly. It might be exercising in the morning, by the way. It might be something as simple as that. Now we can look at that and go, oh, your whole mindset was in a different place and it started a handful of months back. And now you're business wise more attractive right now for people that want to come and ask questions to. Totally understandable. Seen it. You can look, and vice versa, by the way. I have watched people months ago that have gone through trauma and they're like, I don't understand why it's so slow right now. It's like, well, because you created a pattern that made you very unattractive to basically be working with right now and put your trust into. And then people are like, I'm going to give them some space right now. I don't know if we want to bother them with this right now. It goes both ways. You might look at upping certain systems of phone calls and connections and lunches. And I've watched people that have gone and done market reviews for people and said, that's when I really kicked that up out there. And boom, all of a sudden this happened. Matt, I just had somebody that I was like, what is the difference right now? And they said, well, it's funny. Since the first of the year, I started doing a postcard every single week. And I'm like, anything else? And I'm like, no, that's it. Now, I'm not telling everybody to do a postcard every week, but you start looking at it and going, okay, are they that busy because the marketplace said, hey, we're going to let you be successful right now? Or were they the cause of them being successful right now? Almost every time you have the ability of being the cause, and we just need to take ownership of that.
Yeah. And I see a lot of people, particularly 21, 22, the years 21 and 22, 2021, 2022, they were riding the wave. They didn't even know until all of a sudden they hit 23, like, oh, I was riding this wave of a market. But it also depends on where your expertise is, because if you were good at attracting business, then in a good market, you're going to ride a really great wave. But if you're not good at attracting business, it doesn't matter the market. You're going to have trouble riding any wave, because now if you're not good at pricing or positioning or help sellers see things in a down market, you're going to have trouble selling all those listings, right? And so that wave you're going to miss. So it's like, why don't we just take control? And look at the controllables. Doesn't mean that you're going to end up having a very super flat, consistent business. There's going to be ups and downs because there's other factors that you can't control that'll impact you. There'll also be little habits and things that you change with that may impact your business. Like you said, Garrett, like exercising or your certain mindset, or life events, right? You could all of a sudden, it's like, great, family expanded. We already had 3 kids and then, surprise, twins. It's like, okay, having now 5 is probably going to change how you operate in your business a little bit. And you got to be prepared for that. But if you can key into consistent activities, then no matter what the market is going on, you're in control of at least how you can attract business and how you do your business, which is very important.
Well, you can really tell if somebody's in the driver's seat of their business when everybody else's business slows down. And I just had a gentleman up in Seattle. He goes, I'm feeling a little sheepish right now because everybody in my office is quiet and I actually have a lot of business going on. And I'm kind of feeling like I don't want to talk about it. Like I feel bad that I'm like, dude, you're in the driver's seat right now. Like anytime you are outperforming the groups around you, you don't need to go rub it in their face, but you don't want to like all of a sudden go like, oh, I got to bring myself back down to whatever level they're running at. Like, let's keep going. Like you are the creator of this. That's the only thing that's making this happen right now. And I love it when people outperform the market because it is that moment that they realize that they are in control and that they are the ones that get to cause whether they're going to be successful in the future or whether they're just hoping that it's all going to be okay. And I know that like me coaching people, that's my number one goal when I'm coaching somebody is to figure out, can I get you to see that you actually have way more control than you actually thought you did? And the minute you understand that, the fear can back away. Now, believe me, the fear can still be there because you can know that you have the control and choose not to show up. That's a whole nother issue. At which point you're like, I can watch myself eating brownies every single day. And I know that I'm putting weight on and I know this isn't a good thing. We all get into bad trends and bad habits and bad situations. But it's knowing that you have control and then now you need to make the right decisions. every marketplace I've ever seen out there, and we just went through one for about the past 2 years here, that really separated out the people that were having a lot of success to the ones that were, and you all know the people in your office right now, and you might be one of them that was walking around going, I don't get it. I don't get how people are selling real estate right now. I don't know how they're being successful. That's a huge group that is just waiting for the marketplace to come back.
Yeah. And gosh, this could quickly turn into a self-awareness episode.
It's a PSA.
And we'll probably dance around it, but it's like, because once you do know that, like, then everything gets spotlighted, every little activity. But what I'm seeing kind of going forward for the rest of this year is a lot of people looking at, gosh, I don't know if the market is going to come back like everybody said it was, right? Because last year, everybody was talking about interest rates are going to go down. It's going to be great. But now people are maybe seeing some inventory come up, but they're worried about demand. They're worried about price sensitivity, which I talked about on the last episode. And it's like, well, what do you want to control going into the second half of this year? So if you're looking at your business and you're going, gosh, how am I going to acquire market share, grow this if the market is slowing? And if you're looking at the market maybe increasing and you want to catch the wave, what can you control to also be on that and also outperform? And this gets down into like just your daily business habits. Like, how many conversations are you having with people? Are you learning about your people? Are you adding value? Like you said, the person who just started adding the postcards, like they turned up the value delivery in their business. That's why they're seeing more business. And it's not necessarily the postcard. They just chose an avenue and said, I'm going to just click the value up a little bit. And when there are confusing markets, and in this country where households are growing and transaction volume is staying kind of the same, and if it's less this year, then in order to attract more opportunities, we do need to not only turn up the value knob, but the frequency and the quantity knob as well. And if we are having more conversations and we're adding more value to our people, the likelihood of attracting more business increases. It's amazing how that works, Garrett.
It is incredible how it works. And again, I think the realization that you have the control is a huge piece of this. And that's what I think is for a lot of people is that the minute you realize you're in the driver's seat, that's where the power happens. But at the same point is that this realization that I'm in the driver's seat, but maybe I'm not choosing to make the right decisions. I'm choosing to do other things. This is all this ownership side of it that we just need to be aware of as we move forward. And again, I love where you're going, talking about not only turning up the value, but turning up the frequency. Because again, this is all the communication that we have with the people around us. And those ones that were really successful through these quiet times that a lot of people experienced here recently, they did turn up the frequency. They turned up the value. They got in front of people. And it's amazing. We also need to understand, Matt, that a lot of us we misunderstand that we think people buy and sell because they want to buy and sell. But the reality is there's something happening behind the scenes that's saying we need to buy and we need to sell. That's what makes real buyers and real sellers, is the need to make a change in their world and to do something different. And so this is the opportunity here right now is that when we're watching these inventory levels rise, when we're talking about price sensitivity, when we're talking about, gosh, what is this new market or this market that we're watching come up mean? Are we going to do less business? Is it going to be more difficult? I actually just say step back and understand people don't buy and sell real estate because it's easy and convenient. They buy and sell real estate because they have to buy and sell real estate. And the marketplace we're stepping into, usually I see a lot of inventory trade hands. In years past, when I see the marketplaces that I think I see coming up right now, a lot of movement happens. And we got to be in the world with these guys.
Yeah. And I think when you get specific into, well, why is this working and why is this not working, is to look at, what you were saying right there is there's these changes that drive people to buy and sell real estate. And in certain times and in certain economic situations, there could be groups that aren't going to make that change because they're not going to have as much stress, or maybe they just don't want to go through it. And I look at right now in that middle price range, whatever that is in your market, think about maybe it's the third home market or potentially even the second home market for young families, right? Where lots of cash flow going through their world in terms of expenses, because we got kids, we got maybe daycare, we got food, we got the mortgage, we got maybe credit card debt, we got cars, we got all this stuff going on. And the thought of now moving from this home where we know what our payment is to another home that might be a higher interest rate now, it's too much, right? Doesn't mean that those people aren't going to do a real estate transaction, but you have to really understand, is there a life change that's creating some serious pain in their world as it relates to real estate? Or have they had and experienced a windfall where they don't have credit card debt, they don't have all that pain, and they're like, I want to have this lifestyle of being on the river and fishing and doing that with my kids. Cool, they might be able to make a change. And so let's say that market gets constricted and that's where all of your sphere of influence is. Okay, well then maybe we need to pivot and deviate into another market and build more relationships in a different demographic group while not getting rid of this one, of course. But it's like, oh, I was having this conversation with an agent and they were like, we have a lot of people who are probably going to be entering the downsizing market. I'm like, cool. What are you doing to meet those folks? He's like, pickleball. He's like, and all of them are playing pickleball because they're retired. And so I am going and I am playing as much pickleball as I possibly can. And I was like, that's awesome. He's like, I'm building new relationships, getting to know new people, and I'm trying to get into a whole new market. And that's exactly the way to look at it. And that's being in control. That's being in the driver's seat of your business.
It's interesting. I was just talking to somebody else, and I mean, I like the pickleball idea. I had a gentleman recently that said, he's watching a marketplace and he's like, I have a feeling we're going to have divorces coming through the pipeline. We've already seen a higher number of divorces. I actually haven't looked at the stats. I just look at the amount of people I'm talking to. They're like, I feel like I'm helping a lot of people that are going through divorce. That happened a couple months back. I felt like I got a lot of that. I feel that anytime there's financial stresses that start to come up in people's worlds, divorce rates can kind of go up. And I had somebody that's like, I think I'm going to go meet divorce attorneys. Like I'm like, if you want that business, you go ahead and you go chase down that business. Like that's an interesting one to put yourself in the middle of. But it was interesting is their perspective on it was, I've gone through a divorce. I understand the stressors. I understand what everybody's going through. And I feel there's a place where I can add value and bring a place of like I know where you guys are at and I know how to help you through this. I know the difficulties of communication between these two parties also, and how are we going to help get this to the final outcome? I'm like, hey, if you understand it, like these are the opportunities that are around. It's like, you might need to change your game plan. You might need to refocus where you're spending your time and your energy. So Matt, I like your idea of like, sometimes you need to take a step back and go, okay, well, where is the marketplace right now? Am I focusing on the right people? This is all people driven. The minute you understand that every bit of real estate is driven by people and the things they have going on in their life that are causing them to need to buy or sell, all the business is right there. But so often we sit at home, we run more marketing pieces out there, and we wait for the business to come into us. And it's like, it's a way. There's lots of business ways to do this business. But people have never let me down.
That's really ultimately the key. Don't let the market drive you. Let your relationships, let your conversations drive your business, and you get to control how those happen. Like that is like your number one job. How do I talk to more people? How do I understand more people? How do I learn about more people so that I can be in a position to help them if there is an opportunity for them to be helped as it relates to their real estate?
And I see a lot of people, if I'm looking at all the numbers correct and everything that I'm watching right now, and I'm looking at interest rates, I'm looking at inflation, I'm looking at insurance for your property, insurance for your cars. I'm looking, all these things are on the rise out here right now. Everything is becoming more expensive, which at some point does start to put stress on the consumers. And not only will it make it harder for buyers to be able to buy, and we understand that, and that's where people freak out. They go, what am I doing in real estate? It also makes a lot of sellers have to make decisions of needing to sell too, because all of a sudden what was once affordable is not affordable to them anymore in this world. And they need to make changes. Not everybody, but a chunk of them. And so when you look at this and just say, this is what's coming down the pipeline right now. I don't necessarily know how it's going to affect me or what it's going to show up as, but if I can be around these people, I can have control over what my future is going to look like. Don't hope that the market's going to dish you something up. Don't hope that the market's going to make this all okay. Take ownership of, run a business, run your own business, be professionals. The opportunity is there. So,
well, and if you want sustainability, you can't rely on the market anyway, because if you want to be able to survive, if there is a down market, whatever that actually means, you have to have a sustainable business that you're in control of. So,
well, Matt, nice little short one for you guys today. I think I appreciate you kicking around this topic with me. For all of you that are listening and you're like, I like what Matt and Garrett are talking about and the energy that they're bringing to the table. I appreciate that if that's where you're coming from with this. And come check us out at lifeat10tenths.com. Again, as Matt said early on, we'll have a place in there that you can put in your information, and we will give you everything that we've got going on and what's happening here so you can learn more about how to join us on our journey. And we'd love to have you come and do that. So appreciate you all. Thank you so much, Matt. And we'll be back soon.
Thank you, Garrett. Thanks, everybody.